All right. I've said this already once today, but if you were just tuning in,
Hey Justin, I think you need to upgrade phones.
this is a good comment. Okay, so I have to stop my phone after 30 minutes because it cuts off. So this is part 3. This is the first time ever in our couple of month history where we've ever done 3 shows. We blame Furzy09 for this, who was a viewer who really got us debating hardcore over the past couple of days, not only between ourselves, but with people we've played tennis with and other people that have commented and so much more. So Furzy09, let's go. But man, I'm tired. Dang, Furzy09 brought a 5th set. Alright, so this is part 3. So if you want to see part 2 and now part 1, first time I've ever said that, hit stop, go back, look at part 1, part 2, but we are deep in a 5th set right here. I'm playing Furzy09, or we have been playing Furzy09, but we intend to win this match, and we're going to get right into results. Notable results heading into Cincinnati next week, the Western and Southern Open, which again Dave Raines brought us the hats from, and then the U.S. Open. So we're going to start off with the women's side, and again, we always do that because the women tend to get very minimal coverage, at least where we are, and the men, we'll see even men's doubles before the women's matches are shown, so we always try to do the women's first. So I'm going to try to run through this because this is part 3, and I'm sure everybody has stuff to do, right? All right, so first notable match. Halep beat Venus 2-2. Big shocker? I thought it would be closer, but not a shock.
Well, I mean, she played hard. I saw a few of the, again, because thanks to the channels out there, they really don't show that many women's matches.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see this match unless you paid extra. But, I mean, she had a running. She made her look bad. It made her look, to me, it's like, Venus, you should think about retirement.
Mertens takes out Sabalenka. I like Sabalenka. Here we are with another girl from Belarus with the likes of Azarenka, and I think we even have a men's player that's from Belarus as well. Another example of small countries turning out big players. But Mertens took out Sabalenka, and I think Sabalenka had played 2 matches that same day because of rain, but I think a lot of other players did, so no excuse there.
Sabalenka made Wozniacki look pretty bad.
Well,
I mean, Wozniacki looked like she was a little girl playing a big girl.
Well, they did go 3 sets.
Yeah, that's because Wozniacki is a veteran and she knows how to get. I mean, Sabalenka's only 20 years old.
So hey, a good win for Mertens. At the same time, I like Sabalenka a bit. She's 20, I think. She hits it really hard. She shows focus. She shows. I think growth from the last time I saw her play, which is at a Davis Cup match, the last time I actually watched her play. So Sabalenka, I think, shows promise. I think she could use some leg fitness.
I think she could bring that racket back so much. I was watching her forehand. It's powerful, but she wastes a lot of energy bringing that racket all the way back.
So good player in Sabalenka. She might be an unseeded player for me at the U.S. Open, possibly. The French girl Garcia took out Sharapova 3-2. Pretty decisive win. I think Sharapova had played 2 matches that day as well.
Yes, she did. Well, I know she beat Kasatkina easily, and I don't know who else she beat after that, but she had 2 matches that day.
Oh me, that's a tough one for me to even comment on. I'm not terribly impressed with Garcia, and at this point in Sharapova's career, I'm not terribly impressed with either. I don't think Garcia is notable for the U.S. Open. Maybe Sharapova, but I almost didn't write this one down. But I guess you have to because the name Sharapova. I'm going to move forward for time. Svitolina took out Konta 3-4. So we have a cameo appearance from JD2 here. This is Justin Jr. He is our youngest son. So say what's up, Justin. Say hello. All right, so he's in. All right, so Svitolina took out Konta. For me, I still like Konta's trajectory heading towards the U.S. Open. I would still not hesitate to put Konta. Oh, he can't go into that camera. If he knocks it over, we're in trouble.
Come here, sweetie.
Oh, can't do that. Sorry, when you got a 2-year-old running around. All right, so lost my train of thought. So Svitolina defeated Konta. Svitolina for me could be a potential U.S. Open fantasy team player. She's a solid player. And so is Konta. I think because of Konta's results here in some big wins, that is, it really hurt Serena. Not that Serena was in great physical form, but I don't buy into the excuses for getting beaten that bad. I think Konta played an incredible match, maybe her best match ever I've ever seen her play. But I've seen Svitolina play matches like that against other players before too. So Konta got the bad day at the office there, but Konta still has the potential, I think, to make my fantasy team, and maybe Svitolina, maybe both of them, depending on how the draws unfold. So Bertens took out Kvitova 2-3. Now this was a shaky loss for me. Kvitova is someone that I find being a potential winner of the U.S. Open, but I thought that at Wimbledon it just didn't happen, and here we are losing to Bertens 2-3. I'm a little worried about Kvitova at this point.
Yeah, it looks like her tennis has just gone tremendously down, or she's lost a lot of confidence. I'm not sure what's going on with her. I mean, I thought this year would be her year, but I can't pick her for my U.S. Open bracket. I just can't.
Yeah, she's a little off. I don't know what's going on with her. We wish the best for Kvitova. She could be a potential winner at the U.S. Open, but she has coughed up a few matches here of late that she should definitely have won or should have been a lot closer.
Totally agree.
Let's go, Kvitova. Let's go. Next, we had Sloane Stevens that defeated Carla Suarez Navarro. No relation to this.
Well, that's no surprise that she beat her. She should beat her.
Yeah, she should beat her. Look, I like Suarez a lot for having the courage to be a veteran on tour number one. Nonetheless, to have a one-hander. Love to watch it. Again, nothing beats the Henin one-hander, but hey, Suarez Navarro's been fighting with that one-hander for a long time, especially being a female. Commendable. But good win for Stevens. I think it was last year where she started her run towards the U.S. Open and winning that U.S. Open by winning this tournament. I think this time last year she was like 964 in the world, and then ended up winning the U.S. Open and this title, I think. And then became at the end of last year like all the way up to number 3, or 5. Think about that swing: 964 in the world to number 3 in less than a calendar year. Incredible.
Wow.
She should have won it then, right? All right. Stevens could be on my U.S. Open team. Sevastova took out Julia Georges. Here we are talking about Julia Georges again. She's been hanging around for a while. If that camera goes down, we're gonna have an issue.
What do you want me to do? The show's taking longer than usual.
Yeah, taking long. This is Furzy 09's fault. What's going on, Furzy? Just kidding. All right, so here's Julia Georges still hanging around. Good to hear that Julia Georges is still doing big things. She has been for a long time. Julia Georges is someone you could possibly thinking about throwing on a fantasy team, depending upon her draw, depending upon her seeding at the U.S. Open. Sevastova, good job for her. I would have thought she would have won the match either way. Men's news.
Well, Sevastova's beaten a lot of top players before. She's beaten players like Sharapova.
So men's news, and I'm having to speed this up because our 2-year-old's getting ambitious. But Nadal took out Wawrinka last night. Great match. I mean, absolutely great match. Superb match. So Nadal, in my opinion, was the favorite to win, and I thought that Nadal would win bigger than the way he won. But the points that were played, the level of play that Wawrinka displayed, I thought was just absolutely amazing. Just amazing level of play. Depending on Wawrinka's draw and his seeding, if he even attains one, he may even have to qualify or get a wild card. I don't know what his seeding will be at this point in time. Cincinnati will have something to do with that, I'm sure. But if he is unseeded, again, I know he was unseeded at Wimbledon and ended up with a first-round match against Dimitrov. So it's a really tough thing. It's a really tough thing to swallow in terms of would I pick him on a fantasy team as my unseeded player? I think so, based upon what I saw last night. His match play was spectacular. His court conduct was good. He didn't look worried about maybe the health of his knee or any type of injury. He put a lot of effort in. So go, Wawrinka, let's go. Kachanov took out Isner yesterday, 6-6. Here you are, big servers again. I like Kachanov a lot. Isner, again, I'm not bashing on Isner, but for me, a relatively subpar player outside of his serve. I don't find his tactics being anything more than a serve set up forehand. Kachanov, I think, has more of a complete package, so therefore I'm not surprised that Kachanov won. I do like Kachanov for potentially my U.S. Open team. He took him out 7-6, 7-6, battle of big serves, but took him out 7-0 in the tiebreaker in the second set. So
So sorry.
That was really good. So sometimes when the 2-year-old gets kind of cranked up, she'll go out, and it always sucks when you're not sitting here. Though.
I know, but I can't do much about that.
Sorry, guys. All right, so the next match was Robin Haas took out her boy Denis Shapovalov.
I came back for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
You've been gone. So Robin Haas was the next match, took out Denis Shapovalov, her boy 7-5, 6-2.
It looked bad for Shapo.
Yeah, it didn't look too good.
That did not look. It looked like he didn't know what to do. I can't believe he even lost that match. He should have beaten that player. I mean, he beat Fognini and then loses to Robin Haas. That's, I don't know. I mean, that didn't look good for him. His mother's coaching him now, from what I heard. He beat Fognini. Did you hear about Fognini?
Yeah. Okay. So something. First time I had to talk so much when you were gone. I'm like out of breath.
Well, Fognini, I guess, was very upset that Shapovalov, Shapovalov beat him. He said, I don't know what the hype is about these 19-year-olds.
Oh, yes, you're right.
He said Nadal won a French Open by 17. What's the big hype? As a matter of fact, when they shook hands, Fognini barely shook his hand, almost slapped his hand. And even when they were changing over, he said something to Shapovalov about, going, come on. He didn't like it at all. I mean, Shapovalov should have won the next match just to prove Fognini wrong that there is a lot of hype about him.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to get into whether I like Shapovalov or not. I've done this a lot of times. I like him as a kid, as I would like any kid, and I hope he does well. I'm not a fan of his game. It's inconsistent. He flops open on the backhand. I've discussed this a million times. However, I don't like Fognini much at all. Not as a person, but I don't like his game. I don't like his attire on the court and skulls and all that stuff. Who needs it? Anyway, I'm not going to get into a lot either. It's not.
I think he was just being a sore loser.
Yeah, so he loses to Shapovalov and makes this comment afterwards, why all the big stuff about these young bucks? Well, I mean, there has to be someone that takes over one day, and obviously it's not going to be you, Fognini, because you're old and you just got beat by one of them. So all I'm getting at is Shapovalov needed to come out and back that up.
He did, and he did not do it.
He needed to, and he didn't do it. So when I was like looking at Fognini, like, what are you talking about? You're just being a sore loser. It made a sore loser, which he was by saying that, because obviously he can't see the future. So at the point in time, he was definitely a sore loser, and who needs it? Just shake hands at the net. He played well. I think Djokovic had a beautiful display about Tsitsipas.
He did. He hugged him. He said, "Good job." I mean, you can tell he was sincere.
Yeah. So Djokovic, a 13-time Grand Slam winner, loses to a streaky 19-year-old kid, and after the match, Djokovic, the consummate pro, great match. He played well, just like Federer would do, just like if Nadal would do. Sometimes Nadal gets a little testy.
Well, Nadal lost last year to Shapovalov. So, and he didn't. He didn't say anything bad.
So who needs the Fognini comment? But at the same time, it sure would have been nice to see your supposed number one in the world soon, Shapovalov, beat Robin Haas. Now let's be real. That Robin Haas is a journeyman. Robin Haas is no joke. He dismissed Nishikori quite easily, and I would still pick Nishikori to beat Shapovalov. So all I'm saying is you can't look away from Robin Haas. But look, I'll put it this way: Robin Haas will definitely not be on my U.S. Open team.
No, not mine either.
All right, moving forward. Zverev, Sasha, the younger brother, beat Medvedev, who's an up-and-coming player. Relatively easily, 3-2. I'm just mentioning that.
Well, this is great because this is what he needs. He needs to start winning all these matches. He's about to be. He's what, 21?
Yeah.
He needs to start doing it now.
And
good for him that he's dismissing these up and coming players too quickly.
Yeah, and so does Medvedev. Medvedev still needs to win matches too. Let's be real.
But Zverev more because that's the person that we're saying is going to be the number one.
All right, so next match, Marin Cilic takes out little guy Schwartzman, 2-2. I'm not going to dwell time on that personally. I don't even know how. I know Schwartzman's a fighter, but Schwartzman is to David Ferrer, as a million other players are short and grinding. Enough said. Cilic should have won this match, if not 0-0. I'll give Schwartzman a couple of games, which by the way, that's what he got. All right, Tsitsipas took out Djokovic. We've already talked about this. Anderson defeated a player from Belarus, Ivashka. Anderson should have won this, I would hope. He made a final at, Wimbledon?
Yeah, and recently, a U.S. Open final.
But hey, I only mention this because here we are with another player from Belarus, Azarenka, Sabalenka, and now we got Ivashka. Big things in Belarus. Big things. Let's go. Dimitrov takes out Tiafoe. We've already discussed this. Again, Kiyosama mentions in the last video, oh, let's talk about Tiafoe because Tiafoe just beat Raonic. But wah, wah, wah,
Well, I mean, he's doing all right.
he's doing better. He's doing better. But I'm not ready to jump on board the Tiafoe plane yet.
No, not yet.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just not.
No.
I'd rather be on the Tsitsipas plane.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's younger.
Yeah, I agree.
Or Felix.
And has a better game.
Or Felix Auger Aliassime.
Good. You remember the name?
I did. Let's go. I would rather have Felix Auger Aliassime on my team than I would Tiafoe.
Yeah, totally agree.
At this point. All right, so this is the end of the results. There was a lot of big matches. There was a lot of rain in Canada, which created double matches in one day. And if anything, though, that I take away from the tournament this far in Montreal, Toronto, is that if there's that much rain and they have to play 2 matches in one day, which are 2 out of 3 sets, this is a good look at players' fitness. So because of the 3 out of 5 sets for the men at the U.S. Open, and because of all the extra effort that goes into the 2 out of 3 sets at majors for the women, hence the prize money, I'm going to look at a lot of these players that won in these matches that were 2 matches in one day, or even if they lost, like Sabalenka. She wins 1 match, wins Wozniak, comes out and plays the 3-setter against Mertens and loses in, even though it's a bagel in the third.
This is why women can't play 5 sets, 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean,
proved it.
This is a really good look at fitness. So we are about done. Thank goodness, because our 2-year-old is going absolutely bonkers. But these are some parting topics and some questions that I have. I mean, if you want to put them in your lap.
Well, I mean, if you want to finish or not.
All right. So here's a.
Okay, come on.
Here, you can sit in the lap.
It's over there. Go get your drink and come back. Okay? It's over there.
The joys
on the
of kids. He's so cute, though.
It's on
So
the
it
table.
works out.
It's on the table. Go get it. Go get it. Go get it.
All right, so here's a couple of parting topics, and I'm gonna push. These are just open for questions. Our watch time, and I looked this up before I wrote all these notes. Our watch time on our videos are 43%. 43% in the United States. The rest of the bulk is in Serbia, the United Kingdom, Singapore, Morocco, Australia, Germany, Philippines, Canada, and a whole lot more. But those are the bulk of the percentages. So we are less than half of our views in the United States. Everything else is in other countries in which we mention often with exciting tennis players. So I'm getting distracted, but
I'm sorry.
yeah, just you let him inside.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all right. Leave him out here. We'll figure. Will you sit in mommy's lap, Justin?
He wants to sit here. That's
Okay.
what
Well,
we
you
got
can
to
sit there,
Go ahead.
Justin. Or sit in mommy's lap, Justin.
He wants to sit there.
Yeah. I gotta keep the young man out. He's a really good boy. All right. So 47% of our viewers are outside of the United States. My question is this an indicator of the following? Is this an indicator of the lack of coverage, the lack of enthusiasm, the lack of tennis at all as a current sport that is at all of our schools and so forth in the United States? Is this just because we suck to everybody in the United States? Do we just suck to everyone outside of the United States?
I think it is in the United States. I don't think they're interested in watching too much tennis. I think the European or the other countries, they're more interested in sports.
You want to sit in my lap, Justin?
He's fine. They're more interested in sports. They want to know more, you know?
I think it's more about football and about basketball, and respectively.
Yeah,
I like all of the sports, but our local public schools are lucky to have tennis teams, or if they do, the team that we help coaching, or that we help coach, we don't even have a full roster, but we still show up and play. Let's go! And that's going to start in February. But hey, 43% is our viewer percentage in the U.S. The other 47% is locked into those countries, and about 20 more. But it was all like 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. So why is that?
I don't know.
Are we right that in the United States tennis is kind of dropping off?
I don't know.
If he knocks it over, then it's going to be trouble. All right, so lastly, the U.S. Open fantasy teams are building, and this is the end of it after 3 long parts and a very patient 2-year-old. The last thing I want to discuss is our U.S. Open fantasy teams are building in terms of their development. Well, who we're going to pick for our fantasy teams. Again, we can pick 5 players seeded 1 through 16, 2 players 17 through 32, and 1 player that's unseeded. Now, you could have all 8 players unseeded. You could have 7 of the 8, 17 through 32, and 1 unseeded. But you can't have over 5 players ranked 1 through 16. So that's how they're attained. I'm going to roll off some names that I think have a real good shot, and no particular order, just people that I'm thinking about putting on my team, and then Carla with the few. Cilic, Nadal, Federer, Kachanov, Tsitsipas, Auger, O'Shea, Elysium. He might be too young, though. He may not be ready for 3 sets, 3 out of 5. Going deep in 5 at that age, tough mentally. The younger Zverev, Coric, Borna Coric, Halep, Stevens, Serena, Venus, Konta, Kvitova, Kerber, Sabalenka. I was going to say Buzarednescu, but she blew out her ankle. We hope.
Yeah, she's not playing. She won't be playing in the U.S. Open Series tournament.
We hope you do well, Buzarednescu. We like you a lot. Get healthy. Get healthy. Mertens and Bertens, Pliskova, Wozniacki. Carla came in with Sharapova, Tiafoe, Shapovalov, Sevastova, and Wawrinka. Who are we missing? Now, again, these aren't people who will think will win it, but if we're trying to build a team of solid players of up to 8 players, 1 through 16, 5, 17 through 32, 2, and 1 unseeded, or as many unseeded as you want, these are some names we'd put on our team. Who would you pick? Okay? Carla's very impatient at this point. I don't blame her.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to prevent him from knocking up.
The 2-year-old's going bonkers, and we've gone 3 shows, so very sorry if that got annoying. Totally our fault. But first, Z09 brought a really big topic day, and we wanted to get through it. And I feel like we fought this 5th set match. I think maybe the 2-year-old won the match.
I think he won.
But I think we got through it. But I think he won. So everyone, this wraps up our show for today. Much love to everyone. Much respect. I'm sorry if this got long. If I get a bunch of thumbs downs, I'm sorry. But I knew this would be a big show. Thank you, First Z09, and everybody else for commenting. And I thank little JD too here. Come here,
Say
little guy.
bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
All right, look over here. See that over there?
I don't want to rap.
All right. All right, guys. 5th set. I'm going to go get some Gatorade
He needs it.
and re-energize.
Adios.
See ya. Like, share, subscribe. We earned it. Let's go. Let's go.